While most technologies look for markets to penetrate, an ordinary South African entrepreneur chose a different route. She had a market and went looking for a technology. In 1999, the eyeSlices concept was born.
This is where it all started. I discovered a product. It was an Italian product that I just landed a sample of, packaged in a very boring white and blue sachet. You got 6 sachets in a very boring blue and white box, but somehow the concept hit my gut with such a force, and I just saw the gap in the market for it. There were a lot of problems with this little product, and even though it was the perfect product to kind of suit redness, irritation, puffiness, tiredness, and wrinkles, it claimed, it didn't really work, and I thought, I'll develop one with the technology that really works.
The search for the right technology began, and a chance meeting with a manufacturer of aloe cosmetics proved to be the start of something exciting. This man knew something no one else did.
And about 2 weeks later, he came back to me and he said to me, I found your technology. And he took me to the CSIR, and there it was, sitting on a shelf, collecting dust, waiting for me.
Okay, there was a group at the CSIR that was specifically looking at the use of water-soluble polymers. Now, water-soluble polymers find application in the food industry as well as in the pharmaceutical industry. In the pharmaceutical industry, we stumble upon the use of water-soluble polymers is a burnt wound dressing. Now, burnt wound dressing, you can actually sort of make polymers in 2 ways. You can either cross-link it chemically, or you can make a physical blend of it. The thing of using a chemical entity into the material introduced something that's foreign in the material and is not usually allowed in the pharmaceutical industry. So we came upon the use of a physical blend or a physical mixture of water-soluble polymers.
After months of negotiations, market research, and the development of a professional business plan, Karen managed to convince the CSIR to give her an opportunity to turn their science into something marketable.
And it was in January 2002 that we signed the official agreement and licensed the technology exclusively from the CSIR.
With technology in hand and a global vision to develop a world-class brand, the search for funding started, along with the many problems a new technology presents.
I met Karen with her eyeSlices in 2001 as one of the sort of initial guys to get involved and see the product from its inception. I can look back and just look at Karen, who presented all the financials to me, all the numbers regarding the product while I was looking for potential investors. And I said to her, one particular issue is, let's see the product. We talk about the product, but we don't see the product. So she presented the first sets of product that came out of the CSIR in Pretoria. And we looked at these, and after a week, they all went moldy and funny. And it was just the initial stages of the development of what is now a superb product.
When we first met Karen and eyeSlices, the project was still quite new. Karen had just secured the intellectual property, and one of the things that impressed me most about meeting with her was the enthusiasm generally, and then the market knowledge in particular. But it was quite clear that the project had quite a way to go. And in our conversations, I gave her the sage advice that it was too early for venture capital, and that she should work harder on the project and bring it to a higher level of completion before she went looking for capital. Otherwise, she'd be giving it away too cheaply, and she would regret it. And she took my advice on this, and I never saw her again.
By this stage, a scientifically formulated recipe of active ingredients had been tested in the technology platform and was already showing great results within 5 minutes of use.
The idea was to take the technology recipe that we got from the CSIR, hand it over to an outsource or toll manufacturer, as they're called, get them to make the product, and I would brand it, market it, distribute it globally, and build this fantastic global brand. But that was not to happen.
The original shape of the eyeSlices pad, didn't know where to start. Went to anthropometric studies, had a look at various shapes and sizes of the human body to suit the 95th percentile man, which would be male and female. The slice was designed to suit the actual shape of the face to nest perfectly within 95% of people's faces.
The technology was so unique, it meant there were no standard manufacturing methods or equipment available in South Africa or globally to produce this product. Door after door began to shut as no one was willing or able to outsource manufacture the eyeSlices product.
Another major challenge with the manufacturing process was actually packaging the product, because the original recipe from the CSR was to cast this gel into trays and kind of cookie cut it out. And that made the process very labor intensive and almost impossible to scale up and do any kind of quantities.
So the thought was to cast the polymer into the actual packaging. And with that in mind, we designed the packaging based on that concept.
One of the problems we experienced during actually the manufacturing is that the people that designed the mold didn't do such a very good job in actually locating the pins that needs to be able to hold the material. So you need, once you fold the material and it's still hot, it allows the polymer to stress crystallize, to be able to bend. But if you fold this thing and you close it and you press it hot, when it's still hot, the actual pins that needs to go into the holes sort of get squashed during the process, and you are unable to sort of design it or to properly close the mold or the packaging.
Another major challenge was discovering that the technology still had major gaps, and there were questions around the nature of the technology no one could answer. By now, even the original scientists and inventors of the technology had left the country, yet the future still looked bright. Karen married an engineer, and these two newlyweds were left to their own devices.
So that left Toby and I no choice but to go back to the drawing board, become scientists. We turned a room on our property, a little outbuilding, into a laboratory. Bought all the lab equipment, some second-hand freezers. We used heaters to control the environment. We used a slow cooker from our kitchen to dissolve the polymer, and we just did experiment after experiment after experiment for about 1.5 years until we had finally come to the perfect treatment pad for eyeSlices.
And we won't talk about testing because we've been through it. There was a few of us that practically tested every batch that was ever made. If they weren't sloppy, they were like pieces of rubber or chewing gum. And sometimes they were so sloppy they used to end up as cheek pads. I said to one time, why don't you sell them as cheek pads? Because this is where they're sitting. But we got it right. I think we got it right.
Gosh, there have been so many challenges and obstacles on the way that probably about at least 10 times on this journey over the last 6 years, I've got to a point where I've thought, give it up or we just don't have a product.
Perseverance, I don't know where Karen got it from. I said to her many times, Karen, years ago, Karen, pack up. I don't know why you keep at this, but I don't know. She's stuck to it. I never thought I'd see this day. And it's really, I think this is it.
A new godly vision presented a new challenge, but was also the key to finally unlocking many doors of success.
Basically, God gave me the vision for the business, couple of the do's and don'ts, and a challenge. He said, I want you to step out in faith. I don't want you to take on any partnerships or any equity partnerships. I want you to trust me for the resources and the funding and go for it and go and unfold this vision that I've given you.
Okay, because eyeSlices needed Karen's full-time attention, it meant that I was the sole provider for our family financially, and that put quite a heavy financial burden on us as a family, because we needed to survive on only one income. But it's amazing how projects came in and resources came in to support us as a family and to allow us to invest in eyeSlices as a company and move us forward. It was quite spectacular.
I was really blessed along the way. God was faithful to what he'd said, that if I stepped out in faith, he would provide the resources, because we got funding from almost every government instrument available in South Africa. It was absolutely miraculous.
And so, the financial and mentorship support began to roll in, starting with the Blue Catalyst team, an initiative of Blue IQ.
To be honest, when we first saw her idea, some of us thought it was a little bit goofy actually. and we weren't quite sure if there was a market for this product, but it certainly seemed innovative. And Karen, of course, really interests us because, as she calls herself, the Chief Excitement Officer, she provided that passion and that drive that made it look like that this idea could become something commercially viable. We've had various interactions, providing advice along the way, helping Karen expose the idea and the business to incubators and organizations through our network to raise the profile, attract funding, and ultimately turn it into a commercial enterprise.
Initially, eyeSlices came to us looking for funding, and we had launched a seed fund initiative with BioPad, which is a regional innovation center, and there we were able to introduce to eyeSlices the concept of business incubation and the kind of services that we were able to provide eyeSlices. eyeSlices is an excellent example of a passionate entrepreneur that had a particular product, and she went and she sourced innovative technology to give her product a competitive edge, and we couldn't miss that opportunity. And we wanted to get in from the beginning because we saw how Igoli Bio could add value to the company.
One of the important features about technology-based startups is the fact that it is not simply about assisting the entrepreneurs with business processes, but it's also important that one is dealing with technology-based activities, and that adds in a whole new set of challenges. And for Igoli Bio, the real test is, can we be effective in assisting the entrepreneur to deal with those kinds of challenges, those relating to the technology, which is typically novel in the sector that we operate in. And I think in the case of eyeSlices, we have been able to achieve that to a large degree.
BioPad being a first round or very early stage investor for eyeSlices, the company was just being established, and we felt that it was appropriate in terms of the strengths of the business at that point in order to invest. If you look at Karen, you see certain characteristics that you would look for in an entrepreneur at that particular stage, which is a knowledge of the market, an understanding of the market, and the ability to actually penetrate the particular market for the eyeSlices kinds of products. You cannot assume that if you develop a technology, it's automatically going to get into the market. And therefore, we are well positioned in terms of a relationship with eyeSlices to actually accomplish our mission, which is to develop a technology, but also see to it that it reaches the required market through a market understanding.
Well, Karen was one of our early Innovate community members. She is in fact a Blue Label member, which means she's a regular attender of our networking events. I think Karen first met up with us in about 2004 when we were still in our pilot phase, but from day one she engaged with us in these networking sessions. Being an entrepreneur is often a very lonely existence, and it's important to be part of a bigger community. And these Innovate sessions are actually designed to encourage people to network, share experiences, make contacts, do business together. Typically, the kind of people that attend them are ranging from entrepreneurs to academics to business people. Often there are people with money, angel investors hovering around, so it's really a good opportunity and a good platform for people to get to know each other and rub shoulders with people that could add value to them and their businesses.
One of the most important aspects of a business is actually its financial planning, because that's where your business actually determines if your business takes off or if your business doesn't succeed. In this particular case, a lot of work has gone into the financial rollout of this project and the product. And the proper structures were set up, Pty Limited, trusts, companies, all those things, and the proper funding went into those vehicles.
I think a key facet of entrepreneurship is the ability to command resources, particularly resources that don't belong to you as an entrepreneur. And by command, I basically mean identify them, attract them, and then manage them. And over the period of time, the project has grown substantially. When I think initially it was more sort of a marketing exercise, it's now metamorphosed into a complete business proposition, including manufacturing, all the way through to the distribution. And so one has seen the creation of a company that spans the whole value chain. And they said the key feature of that has been watching Karen mastermind and work her way through what it takes to get together all the resources required to put together the project, to put together the company.
The interest from the marketplace was growing, and the press had started to discover this innovative product. Various articles on eyeSlices were published, and the company was awarded numerous awards. Yet the challenge to scale up the manufacturing process continued. There was still no way to consistently manufacture large quantities of the product and ensure a stable shelf life.
Initially, when I met Karen, her main focus was marketing of the product, and she wasn't really interested in manufacturing of the product, and she was more interested in outsourcing the product to outsourced manufacturers. But we soon realized that no outsourced manufacturer would take on this product because it was terribly complicated and no one had the capacity to do this. And that's when we decided to take it on as a project to do internally and manufacture it ourselves.
I went looking through the food review in the Igoli Bio library and started to page through a magazine and saw this machine. And the only reason it caught my attention was that it had these little oval cutouts that looked like eyeSlices. And I thought, let's give it a bash. And we called up Ulma Packaging Solutions, and at 8:30 the next morning they were there to service us.
Once we finalized the details of how the Ulma machine had to be customized, then we had to work out a process whereby we actually move the product through its freeze-thaw cycles in very large volumes. The process has involved developing specialized filling processes, specialized freeze-thaw processes, specialized environmental controls, customized trays.
Kieran and Toby approached me to make as Kieran calls it, a reactor vessel to make the polymer. It's essentially a stainless steel pressure pot that was ex-military, extensively modified to suit their applications.
As things started to take shape, other innovative technologies were included in the process to ensure sterility and quality.
Due to the unique, effective and natural properties of Axol, Radical Waters is intimately involved in the entire manufacturing process, from treatment of raw materials through the manufacturing process, cleaning and inclusion in the product, as well as inclusion with the final packaged product as a dropper solution.
And now we're able to produce a product in the volumes that we need and at the quality we need to meet the market demands.
I've known Kieran most of her life. She grew up with me as a little girl, and she always knew what she wanted. She knew where she was going to, and with perseverance and faith, she did it.
I understand she's won quite a few awards over the last few years, and now she's launching the product, as you know. I'd like to wish her every success for her future, and I think one day we'll be able to buy this marvellous product all over the world.
So I really do wish her lots of success. I can't wait to see this product on every airline, right around the country, and in every beauty salon. I know she can do it, and we'll see it all over the world.
I used to use cucumber. Cucumber doesn't belong in my fridge anymore because I don't like eating cucumber, and I only used to use it for my eyes. Now I have eyeSlices. I love them.
I have used it. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Like I said, I'm involved with celebrities, models all the time. So for me to impact them and to help them to look their best all the time has been great.
The results have been phenomenal. Clients love it. They've come back for more. The product does what it says. It delivers restoration, rejuvenation, restoring, relaxing, etc. and they have been most impressed.
And my 9-year-old uses them as well. She loves them. She's such a diva. She's like, Mommy, we have no eyeSlices in the fridge. You have to phone Karen. So, there are 2 divas in the house and we both love our eyeSlices.
We think eyeSlices will do very well in the Middle East. Unique product.
We would love to have eyeSlices part of our delegations to international events in 2007, and I know for sure that definitely the Export Council will back up your application.
Spain is very excited at what we've achieved here in South Africa on the non-food application.
eyeSlices is a wonderful product. It's going to position South Africa at the forefront of cosmetics technology. I see a great future and you are really doing us proud.
I believe that we'll be seeing eyeSlices listed on the stock exchange in the not too distant future.
I have absolutely no doubt that within a very short period of years that we will see Karen's eyeSlices on the billboards of the world.
Thank you, South Africa. Thank you, stakeholders, suppliers, distributors, customers, salons, friends and family. Together we're making eyeSlices a global success.